The story of a boy, a girl, and a universe.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
It's a big, sprawling space saga of rebellion and romance.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Come with you to Alderaan. There's nothing for me here now. I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
It's a spectacle, light years ahead of its time. It's an epic of heroes.
Good luck! Hit the accelerator!
And villains. And aliens from 1,000 worlds.
Go that way. You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile.
Star Wars. 1 billion years in the making.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Boonta Eve Party Planners. This is episode 1, so we're just kind of getting everything started out here. My name's Joe, recording live from Endor, or the Forest Moon of Endor, aka Washington State. I've got my co-hosts here.
I'm Paco. I'm calling from the River City, Richmond, Virginia. Ready to talk some Star Wars, you guys. I'm excited about this.
Hell yeah.
And I am Malachi, most notably known as Mal. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL represent.
Yes.
So cool. We've all been friends for well over 20 years now, and we've all really been into Star Wars. So just thought it would be a good time with everybody sort of cooped up at home and having everything else going on to try to start a podcast. So before we really start getting into everything, I think it would be a good idea to kind of talk about how we all became friends. For Paco and I, we went to high school together in Virginia Beach.
Yep.
So I think, what was our first class? Like, was
11th grade?
I think it was 11th grade. Yeah, I think it was 11th grade.
Class? Mrs.
Yeah.
Cofield?
The infamous Bell 666.
Yes.
Yeah,
we were pretty bad.
I don't think we were that bad, but we probably weren't great. We were good students.
Yeah, you did most of the work. I used to just cheat off you all the time.
That's true too. But we would get put into the hall, and like Miss Cofield would be like, "Hey, you guys learned your lesson?" And we're like, "No, I think we just need to stay out here a little longer."
A little longer. Yep. A little longer.
Classic. But even then, we were pretty much all about Star Wars all the time. Do you remember that one Halloween party you had that I came dressed as Darth Vader?
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. You always had more action figures than me, though.
I still have all. See, that's the thing is I was thinking about when we were talking about doing this. I was like, I can't. Literally, in the 40 years of my life, I can't remember a point in time where Star Wars was. I can't remember, like that. Star Wars wasn't a part of my life. My oldest memory is going to see Return of the Jedi at 3 years old twice. Once with my dad, once with my mom. And I still have all of my action figures in a C-3PO collector's case from 1983. I have action figures that are technically older than me.
Man, see, I don't have like any. I don't have any of the classic figures anymore. I think the last one I had the Rancor. And I can remember being like 8 or 9 and like throwing rocks at it until it broke. And yeah, I was like, I don't even know why I did that. I'm assuming it's because I thought, I'll always get more Rancors if I need them. But That figure was great too. Like it had the
It was
like
an
the
amazing
opposable jaw. Yeah, I
Yep.
love that thing.
Yeah.
But
Wrist,
now,
nice wrist action.
yeah, had really good wrist action. Everything about that figure was rad. I
Beautiful
just
skull.
yeah. Have they done, Mal? You would know this. Have they done another scale 3.5-inch Rancor?
They only did the one like back in like I think like 2002, which that was a little even more better. That was actually cool. That actually came with him holding Luke and like the dead Gamorrean
Yeah.
guard on the
Oh yeah, it
ground,
was.
and he had the bone.
That's right. It was
Like
like a
rubberized.
diorama. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they haven't done any recently. No, but yeah, that was like the last one. And that was like a real. They just used that mold again because that was actually a really good mold.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as Paco, and I can't remember life without Star Wars. And the first movie I saw in the theater was Return of the Jedi, and I remember seeing it and just being completely obsessed with it for weeks, and then weeks became years, and years became decades. Even like during the dark times when there wasn't anything. Remember like all the Power of the Force figures?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember going to Lynnhaven Mall and being super, super hyped at getting the removable helmet Darth Vader. And I think I want to say that's the same night that we almost got banned from the mall.
I think so too.
Yeah, it sounds about right. And then Malachi, what was your first one? Wasn't it Empire Strikes Back?
Yes, and the funny thing is the way I came into Star Wars wasn't even through the film yet. But Empire was my first one because I think I got like 2 years on you guys in age, but my first like thing into Star Wars was my mom, who like is not a Star Wars fan, like went to this big premiere of the first film back in New York City when we were living out there, and like she's like she fell asleep through it. She's like she didn't like it, which is weird. Like her kid became like the hugest Star Wars fan, but like she was like no. But they gave out the vinyl record, and so it was always in our record collection. So when I was like, I've always been like a tech geek. So even at 2 years old, like one of the first things I remember doing was learning how to use a record player.
That's awesome.
And that was like one of the first things I would put on was that Star Wars album. And then like so maybe like 2-3 months later after I learned how to do that, Empire came out, and my grandfather, like I remember one of the first movies I ever saw with him was going to see Empire in the theater.
Nice.
And from there it began, and then it was crazy because I think it was like 98, and I had just started working at Taco Bell in Virginia Beach.
Yep.
And then after like I think my second day, I go to get some food, and one of the managers, Lisa, brings me up, and I had my regular clothes on. She goes, "Oh, it's a cool Star Wars." I was like, "Thanks." She's like, "You like Star Wars?" Like, "Yeah, like love it, huge." She was like, "You need to meet my son." And so I was like, "Oh, awesome." And then she was telling me about that party you had. She was like, "Yeah, everybody came dressed up as Star Wars characters." She's like, "It was awesome." And so I think on occasion we never really got a chance to really talk because either you like dropping her off but I remember like her introduced us really quick one time, and then it wasn't until April of '99 in front of Military Circle's Toys R Us, and that's when the day the Phantom Menace toys went on sale, and I was first person in line, and then I see a car pull in the parking lot, and it goes, I'm like, those guys look familiar, and it happened to be Joe, Nate, and a bunch of other friends of ours, and I was like, from there started this 20-something year friendship.
Right around episode 1, yep. I was like, we pulled up in the parking lot because I was like, man, we're gonna be early, and I was like, who's this guy already here? And then I was like, wait a minute, I think I know that guy, and like. And even my mom, she came home one day and she was like, there's this kid who works for me who's probably more into Star Wars than even you. And I was like, no way. And then we talked a couple of times. Yeah, just being there to pick up my mom from work and stuff. I'd chit chat with Malachi. And then, yeah, that time we at Military Circle, I was like, I'm going out there. I was like, I know that guy. And everyone went out there and we just hung out there. And yep, that's how it all started. And that's so crazy. It's like, look where we are now.
Yeah, I know. And then from there was the in line for the tickets.
I wrote down I jotted a couple little notes here, and those are two of my biggest ones: Toys R Us and sleeping at the theater.
Malachi and I stayed overnight, and it was like, I remember about 4 or 5 in the morning, it felt like it was freezing out, and it was like super cold. And we would actually break up our spots. So it'd be like, all right, well, you go and get food. I'll hold down the fort. And then I'd go and get food. And I remember going to the Super Kmart because it was open 24 hours. And they had all the all the Mountain Dew and Pepsi that all had the cans that actually had all the characters on it at that time.
With the gold Yoda.
Yep, with the mysterious gold Yoda.
Yeah.
Which somebody probably still has.
Probably. And that Super Kmart was cool because remember they had the actual episode 1 Pepsi machine outside, which I would love to own this to this day.
Oh
but
yeah, that was great. And I think I was reading at the time. I think I was reading the Jedi Apprentice books, like the paperback junior novels, because it was all about like Qui-Gon. So I was like, I want to know more about this Qui-Gon dude. I want to know more about his noble end.
I remember before we like even heard their names, when we were just reading them, we were like mispronouncing them and stuff. We were like Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon Jine. What's this guy's name?
And I was like, Anakin races Sabula in the race.
Yeah, Sabula.
Do you remember all the crazy stuff that came out of Phantom Menace, which was like, oh, there's Baby Greedo, which I think might actually be in the deleted scenes as being like a Baby Greedo.
Yeah.
But everybody was talking about Kister supposedly being Boba Fett. Everybody's like, yeah, that dude's going to be Boba Fett because his ship's called Slave One and he's a slave on Tatooine.
But yeah, I recently just rewatched some of those deleted scenes, and yeah, because like Wald calls, like he goes, "You're gonna come to a bad end, Greedo." After he and Anakin had the fight, so yeah, that was supposed to be little Greedo.
Yep. But I still like there was so much like about the Phantom Menace that kind of just made our friendship pull together in like the weirdest way.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the same year too that we were going to all the parties. And Malachi was coming to all the different parties and everything. We tried to get we went to that one party and we ended up having the bootleg copy of the Phantom Menace.
Yep. We got kicked
out.
Yeah, we did. We got kicked out of that one. I blame Guar for that one, or most of the parties we got kicked out of.
Yeah.
Mal, can you actually remember like what toys you got at the Toys R Us that night?
I was saving up for months. And I bought every card figure, and then I got the 2 pod racers.
Yeah.
And Paco, you bought something for your dad that night, didn't you?
I bought him all kinds of junk. He got the Naboo Starfighter, which he still has, and the Vulture Droid 3-pack thing. Remember that stupid thing?
Yeah.
He got that thing too, and that was about it. And then I got all the Legos. That's all I got. I got every single episode 1 Lego set that night. Yeah,
because the original Lego sets came out a couple weeks before, but the episode 1 Lego sets came out with the midnight release.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got everything.
And that was back when we were still using the yellow Lego minifigs.
Yeah.
Those
ones have yellow faces. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of minifigures that are worth so much money.
Yeah. I wonder if you could tell the difference between those and the 20th anniversary ones that came out last year.
I don't know.
There's got to be a way.
I mean, it may be a year. Yeah, it's probably a year or something printed inside the head.
There's got to be something. Like, even if it's like a different facial print, there's got to be some difference there.
Yeah,
So yeah, Malachi and I were in the newspaper for staying overnight at the ticket release.
Yes, yep. I'm pretty sure my mother still has that clipping. I've got next time I'm down there, I'm gonna bug her. I'm gonna look around, but I'm pretty sure that.
Yes, dude. Yeah, you got to scan that and give us a copy of that.
I'm definitely gonna take a picture of it. Don't worry. I'm gonna make sure that lives forever. I have a feeling it is still there somewhere.
That was such a fun thing. I wish.
And then I was on the news.
Oh yeah, you were on the news. Yeah, I think Malachi's collection, when they came to interview him at the house, is still on YouTube.
Because at that time, I had like the biggest collection in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, I was so envious. I remember going over there and being like, man, this guy's got so much cool stuff, man.
And then that was the cool thing too about working at Taco Bell. Remember, it was the Taco Bell, KFC, and Pizza Hut toys. So and then the cup toppers.
Yep. Actually,
and like
before I moved out here, we were going through the garage at my house, and I found all the boxes of the fast food toys, and I still had the Darth Maul topper as well. But I didn't bring anything with me when I moved out here to the West Coast. I just left it all.
Yeah, because all the boxes, made the mural.
I've probably still got a whole bunch of figures upstairs in my attic somewhere, especially probably a lot of Episode 1 era stuff. I'd have to dig around. I don't have every single original Kenner Run figure, but I have a lot of them. I can't remember. Sarah and I, when we watched the the Plastic Galaxy documentary about the figures,
Yeah.
we went through and counted, and I can't remember how many I have, but I have a lot. It's a lot of them.
Yeah, but for me, it was always just the movies. I know that we saw The Phantom Menace together probably at least close to 10 times. And Malachi, I don't even know how many times you saw it, because you saw it about a week before it actually released, right?
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite memories. That's like one of my favorite stories, like to tell people. Yeah, because I just remember we had gotten in line. I was first one to get there, and you guys hadn't even got there yet. And I remember I saw a bunch of people like going in for a screening. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wonder what they're screening. And this girl, I was like, what are they screening? She was like, oh, they're screening that new Star Wars film. I'm like, oh man, and I rushed that. Yeah, she's like, you know what? Take this ticket. I don't want to see it. She's like, here, take my ticket. And I'm like, what? I was like, yeah. She's like, take my ticket. And it was awesome because the people that were in front of me in line were like, we'll hold your spot. They were like, we're jealous, but this is a once in a lifetime thing. We will hold your spot for you. I'm like, my friends are coming. If they come looking for me, just let them know I'm inside seeing the movie. And yeah, I will to this day will never forget that fact that I got to see it almost 2 weeks early.
And that's the thing too that I forget about seeing episode 1 is that's all we saw that movie. You guys literally slept in front of a movie theater to get movie tickets. This was pre-Fandango. That is so insane to me that we lived through that kind of stuff. Like kids nowadays, they have it so easy. It's crazy.
All I had to do to get tickets to the Last Jedi was just going on the computer, and literally it was 2 seconds later I had tickets. I didn't even have to worry about anything crashing. It just was instant.
Exactly, and the fact that you can choose your seat now. Yeah, you call your phone, you choose your own seat now. It's like we still even had to get in line early to make sure we got good seats.
Yeah, the last movie I actually went to early to get good seats was The Force Awakens, because they didn't have reserved seating there. But every other film I've seen after that that's been major, I've just picked the seats. It kind of takes the fun out of it.
It does. Exactly. I've never done that. Honestly, I've never done that. I don't think there's a theater around here I go to that does that. Or maybe,
really?
And I just don't go to it.
It's an acquired taste, I suppose.
I haven't done that. That's crazy. I mean, we saw The Rise of Skywalker at like a crappy beach resort town theater, Joe. Like the Outer Banks one, like that 2 theater. It was like 4 theaters in this little tiny beachfront crappy theater. It was so cool. It was so cool.
Was there a lot of people in there? Was it like actually a pretty good crowd?
No. It was like there were 4 people there, including me and my wife. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I saw the Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker in the same theater, because we only really have one theater out here.
Yeah, I saw Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise all the same theater because I did the marathon for all 3. So
I did.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I did do the first 7 and 8 we saw in the same theater.
And the last time I saw you was when we went to go see The Force Awakens together, and that was years ago now.
Yeah. That's so. Yeah, jeez, man.
5 years now. It's just crazy.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I think I saw The Force Awakens 3 times as well.
I like that one. That's my favorite one.
That's your favorite one of the new.
I guess so. I'm not like the people who hate The Last Jedi. I like The Last Jedi a lot too. I think that's a very fun and very good movie too. But I'm not too much into the Skywalker. I'm not too much into The Rise of the Skywalker.
See, I felt a little iffy the first time I saw it. I felt like it was a lot going on, and it just needed to slow itself down and breathe a little bit. But as I've watched it a few more times, I like it more. Like I can see it a little bit more like The Force Awakens now. I think my favorite out of the 3 sequel trilogy is probably The Force Awakens as well. But it changes. Like seriously, it changes every couple weeks, like how I feel about it. Because I love The Last Jedi as well. But I think I love it for a different reason. I think I love it because it's probably the best shot of the 3 films there.
There's cool stuff going on in those movies, man. Both of them. I don't know. I just can't. I've only seen The Rise of Skywalker once. I saw it in the theaters, and I walked out of there being like, I don't think I really like that movie, and I haven't watched it since it's been on the Plus. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another whirl, but
I would definitely give it another shot because
we'll see how it changes. We'll do a whole different episode on that. See, we're jumping around too much already. We're getting
we are.
This is like a new episode already.
Exactly. There's a lot of us like kind of talking over each other and stuff. So, listener, just know that we'll get it down a little bit better because we're definitely talking a little bit more, but we're learning. Hey, so. Yeah. What can I say?
Yeah.
Hey, do we want to talk about like some of our favorite moments out of all the Star Wars films?
All right. Well, why don't you start off and do your favorite 3?
So, my first like major thing that I love about the Star Wars films and the favorite moment is Return of the Jedi. It's a speeder bike chase.
Nice.
Yeah, I love the speeder bike chase because it is literally everything that I kind of envision Star Wars being sometimes. It's got my favorite stormtrooper design because I love the scout troopers. It's got Luke like using the lightsaber. It's got Leia taking charge because Leia just jumps on the speeder bike before Luke even has a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
And it's got a real sense of speed and energy to it, which I love. And it's probably the most blaster bolts I think Luke blocks in any of the films. And he just feels more capable in that scene than any of the other ones. And it's got Han doing judo, which is hilarious. But it's true. He does like the judo throw, like at the end. But it also sort of feels like an episode of Chips because those scout troopers are just hanging out there. Like, what are they doing? They actually look like they're trying to catch somebody in like a speed trap. So, but that's my all-time favorite scene in Star Wars, and it's kind of weird because it's only like 3 minutes long. I think my second favorite scene in Star Wars is when Rey pulls the Skywalker lightsaber out of the snow in the Force Awakens.
Nice, go new. All right.
And I think I like that scene so much because just that lightsaber battle in general is just a different style of energy than we've seen because the prequels have all the flips and the twirls, and the sequel trilogy it's almost brutal. Like it's very it's got like an aggressiveness that's not in any of the other ones except for maybe the Luke and Vader in Return of the Jedi. But at that moment when Rey kind of accepts who she is to an extent and pulls the saber away from Kylo, I don't know, it's so awesome. And it's awesome because for like the first real time besides Leia and Padme, you have this female protagonist that everyone can kind of see as being somebody to look up to. And I just think that's a really good message. And I really like that, especially the whole idea of coming from nothing, sort of like Luke. It's a perfect analogy between the old films and the new.
Nice.
But my third favorite scene is probably a little bit harder because after that, they all start to kind of blend into things that I like a lot. Like a lot. But I kind of want to say it's a toss-up. Like, I really, even though Attack of the Clones isn't one of my favorite films, I really like the Jango Obi-Wan fight on Kamino.
Yep. That's tight.
And it's hand-to-hand combat, which you don't ever see a Jedi do, I think, ever again in any of those films. And I like that detective aspect of that whole portion of Attack of the Clones. And even though it might not be the best of them, that whole sequence really works for me. And in a way, that's probably my favorite moment in that entire movie and probably all the prequels, which is odd. But
nice.
So, yeah, we'll get to it eventually, but I have a hard time with Revenge of the Sith. Like, that's probably my least favorite, which is also, well, besides Attack of the Clones, which is not a popular opinion, but we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, we'll talk to those. So we'll get there.
Yeah. Paco, how about you?
Well,
you're going Malachi next.
I want Malachi to go. You'll let Malachi.
All right.
Okay. Now, a lot of my favorite scenes are actually tied to, like, musical cues. I'm like, because like that's like one of my favorite things, just like the music. So like one of my favorite scenes is got to be the throne room saber battle with Luke and Vader, And then, like, especially like the moment when it kicks in when he's like, "You have a twin sister," and like when the music kicks in from there, yeah, that's like one of my all-time favorite scenes. And I mean, this is one of the first times you actually hear vocals
Williams
in a Star Wars
crushes it with
song.
that song.
Yep.
Like,
My second, it would have to, which is another throne room. It has to be
oh yeah,
Nice.
Duel of Fates. Like when those doors open and he's standing there in that badass pose and that dun dun kicks in, it's like you knew shit was about to go down.
Yep.
You knew it was about to happen, and like that saber battle alone is just like awesome. I mean, it was the first time seeing like a double bladed lightsaber, so of course you like everyone's going out of their minds. And now see my third. I don't know. Maybe if I'm trying to pick one
see,
from
the third is the
each
hardest.
trilogy.
The third's the one that
I mean,
it becomes difficult.
Yeah, like it's the awesome scenes. I mean, and I don't want to pick like one of like the most like everybody because everyone loves like the Battle of Hoth and all that. But I mean, one of the ones that really gave me some really good feel good moments, no matter what your thought of on the sequels, was from Rise of Skywalker. Was that last space battle when like all the ships
Yeah, that
come
was
in?
pretty tight.
Yeah, I feel you.
I wish that scene had been longer though. Like I wish it had been like the Return of the Jedi space battle.
Yes. That's my problem with it. Yes.
But man, that scene though, when all the ships show up and it's all the different ones, like the Ghost is in there. So
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's so rad.
Look at that.
I totally get it, and I actually really like that new Star Destroyer design too, with the Death Star laser underneath it. I like the idea that it's basically that whole sequence is like a zombie film, from zombie Star Destroyers to zombie Palpatine. Like it's a horror film. It's the first Star Wars film that's sort of like a horror film.
Yeah, I guess I feel you.
You don't feel me. You're totally. I hear that. I guess.
No. I feel you. That is a good way. That is a good way of putting it. I do. That is a nice way of saying it. I mean, there's literally Star Destroyers coming out of the earth at one point, rising from the grave. Yeah.
It did need more explanation. Like we needed a little bit more on where all the Sith troopers came from. I get it. I do. I get it.
Nonsense. All right.
All right, Paco, what are your three?
Right, you ready? All right. I love all the beginning of. I love all the Tatooine stuff at the beginning of Return of the Jedi. The Jabba the Hutt stuff. I couldn't break it down to one. I was like, I love the Rancor. I love Jabba talking to everybody, like going through Boosh and talking to when Luke shows up. Like all of that is just so rad to me, and reminds me of seeing it as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like right from the get-go. Like I was 3 years old. My mom was reading me the subtitles, so I knew what Jabba the Hutt was telling everybody. Like I just love that stuff. The Sarlacc pit. Yeah, I couldn't break it down to one section. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like,
Actually, Mal, I thought you were going to go with Return of the Jedi because I thought you always really loved the scene where Luke gets the saber for the first time, his rebuilt one.
That is I was trying to decide, but yeah, because especially like I said with the music, yeah, I mean that right there with the music when he's like on the daggone diving board pretty much, and yeah. That is one of my all-time favorite scenes of that film.
Signal and jumping off the diving board and grabbing it, bouncing back up, catching that lightsaber, cutting Boba Fett's gun in half. Like, yeah, I love that. I love all of that.
Did anybody catch that reference in Clone Wars?
To me, I don't know why.
I did not catch that reference in Clone Wars, but Paco, you haven't seen the very last episode yet, have you?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm done.
Oh, you are done. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but this was like one of the earlier ones when they were doing the battle on the kind of like the boardwalk thing, and when R2 and remember the troopers underneath the underneath the platform when R2, the music cues are the same. You hear like dun dun dun, yeah, from Return of the Jedi. They use the same music cues.
But yeah,
Clone Wars is so good.
I love that stuff. Number 2, the Mynock hunt.
Really? On Empire Strikes Back?
Yep. I love that part. I love that part. Like because that's what I was thinking too. I was like, what part of Empire do I like the most? And I was like, it's because I love that scene. It's very, again, it's like you were saying, it's like a horror movie moment wrapped into this crazy adventure movie all of a sudden. And I like that a lot. It was very fun. And then especially the big reveal at the end that, oh, crazy, we were inside a monster the whole time anyways. Like, I just love that. It's one of the things that makes me love Star Wars.
Yeah, I like the Mind Uncut a lot too, because it's completely different than everything else that's in that film. It's Han and Leia are off on like this.
What's going on here? And then the end, you're like, oh, we were in a creature the whole time.
I mean, even the lead up to that is awesome with like the whole asteroid chase, which is like another one of my favorite pieces of music is the asteroid belt music.
I like that they used the asteroid music in Solo. Again, that was really fun.
Yep, I did. I picked that up. I noticed that.
All right, big number 3.
All right, number 3. This one is a personal one. I would like, because I had trouble too figuring out what my third favorite would be, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go with a moment that wasn't really like enjoyed because it was a good part for me. It was the act of what was happening at the time. And I'm going to go with the first time we saw episode 1 and saw Jar Jar Binks. Because within a couple of lines of dialogue and a couple of minutes of dealing with him, I remember leaning right over to Joe and being like, I already don't like him.
Poor Jar Jar.
And it just makes me laugh every time I watch that movie. I think of that. I'm like, I remember watching this for the first time, just leaning over to Joe and being like, I don't like that. All right.
You still don't like the Jar Jar?
Oh no, that was almost too good.
Yeah,
Ahmed Best better watch his back. Like, you might be able to get Jar Jar jobs.
Well, what's weird to me too is when I watch episode 1, he gets on my nerves so much, but I will watch a Clone Wars episode with him in it, and there's something different about the way they handle him compared to the way Lucas did. I feel like, I don't know, there's something different going on with Jar Jar in the Clone Wars. He's not so much I don't know.
It might just be what he's given to work with. Like, it could just be literally the script itself might be a little bit more three-dimensional. But it's weird, as I've gotten older, I kind of don't mind Jar Jar as much. Like, even in The Phantom Menace, like, I think that it's just something that wasn't meant for us in a way. Because we were in our 20s, and Jar Jar almost is this simple character that is more aimed for kids. But at the same time, he's sort of like, I don't know. He's the reason that the Republic has clone troopers. It's crazy. And I feel like it's good that Lucas kind of dumbed down his role after The Phantom Menace. Like, he was supposed to be so much more than that, but because of the way people felt about it, it kind of scaled him back a bit.
But, I mean, wow. The other thing that weirds me out when I rewatch episode 1 is like the whole Senate stuff anyways, and the planet of Naboo anyways. Like, when I was watching it, because I just rewatched it like a week and a half ago, I was like, I'm gonna watch episode 1 again, and like, I was like, what is going on Naboo? Like, the Gungans are talking about how they want to kill all the people who live on the surface. They're like, the Galactic Senate literally they didn't have any kind of representation in the Galactic Senate at all up to that point.
No, it's like, pretty fucked up.
Yeah. I was like, what is going on Naboo? Like
I don't know, man. Like, Amidala as queen, clearly she was just neglecting the Gungans.
And I mean, like I said, Boston ass is like, I want to
exactly. You have a whole race of people
who live on the surface, but I'm gonna let the mechaniques do it instead. Like,
I mean, it's screwed up. But I mean, and the other thing, the funny thing about it is it sort of parallels the whole idea of the prequels, that the Jedi are so all powerful and all knowing and controlling so much stuff as being like this peacekeeping force. But they're allowing all these different injustices to just continue. Like slavery on Tatooine.
Yeah. Slavery in the Outer Rim, that you guys don't do anything about that.
It's that's one of the parts that I really liked about The Last Jedi is that Luke kind of lays it out. He's like, yeah, they'd become like complicit to everything that was happening around them, and they failed to see the biggest threat in centuries or millennium that was literally right in front of them the whole time.
Yeah.
Count Dooku literally flat out told Obi-Wan.
Like, the dark side always tells everybody exactly what's happening, just from a certain point of view.
Yeah.
Like you know, the leader of the Sith is running everything. It's like, okay, they had 3 years. 3 years of information. They did nothing with it.
And then, like, that's the other thing about. Do you remember seeing the prequels and the Trivial Pursuit was out at the same time?
Yeah.
And who, like, if you didn't know an answer to a question, who is the answer to the question?
Wedge Antilles.
It is. It's always Wedge Antilles. So why do we never get anything dealing with Wedge Antilles in any of the prequel films?
Yeah, that is weird.
It's odd, especially since he's such a. Everybody else has a touch in the prequels. I mean, Chewbacca is there. Literally, why is Chewbacca never mentioned Yoda ever again?
Ever.
Well, I guess one of his relatives was in the film. Because remember, like, he's like one of the other people like who was nominated for senator.
Oh, really?
Was like another Antilles. Because like when Captain Panaka comes in, he goes, he's got a little bit of competition. He's like, Bail Organa of Alderaan and something Antilles of Malastare or whatever. I can't remember, but yeah, right, like an Antilles name is mentioned.
I know what you're talking about.
Dang.
But even still, Chewbacca.
And I guess maybe because if you look at that Rebels episode, he was kind of young.
Helped
but yeah,
Yoda escape Order 66, and he's not like, yo, I know that dude. Like,
especially when his partner's like all skeptic of the Jedi, talking about it's a Hokie religion.
Like,
he literally saw things firsthand.
Flip around and chop a dude's head off. Like, and then I helped him get in a little space pod, and I never saw him again. And this blonde-haired boy is talking about going to hang out with him. I'm telling you, the Force is real, Han.
That's great. I don't know. The Phantom Menace and Jar Jar. That's an interesting third choice
like
for real.
Said, it's a personal thing. Like I said, it's the story more than the actual moment.
Well, I kind of get it though, because it kind of defined the prequels in a way. Like Jar Jar literally is what put everybody to say, I don't like the prequels. And then 10 years later, everybody's all into the prequels, and now they hate the sequel trilogy, which makes me just think...
That's very weird to me. It is very weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Clone Wars made the prequels better, but anything that's going to add to the original story is going to make it better.
Yeah.
So anytime you have like 130 episodes or 150 episodes to kind of build the story, you're going to have a better relationship with the source material.
And when you have somebody who actually understands
exactly.
You know, like Dave Filoni. Or like somebody who knows what Star Wars is supposed to be. Like, and I mean, my problems with the prequels overall are direction issues, and it's because George Lucas is a terrible director. I'm gonna say it right now. I don't care.
Man.
I don't care. He's a bad director. He's a bad director.
I think he's a good director in terms of things that aren't people. I think he just has a hard time getting performances.
Right, okay. That's funny to me. That's a good way of putting it, I guess.
You're going to talk about like basic cinema skills, like flipping a frame.
No, not just that, but like just getting a performance out of an actor. Like when I rewatch, like I said, I watched episode 1 a couple weeks ago. How do you get a bad performance out of Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor? Oh, like Liam Neeson does a decent job, I guess. But I mean, these are all like, it's not like episode 4 where Harrison Ford and Mark and Carrie, those were all no names. He's in the prequels. He's literally got the cream of the crop working for him, and Jake Lloyd, he just does a bad job at telling actors what to do. I feel like.
Well, I mean, yeah, he did do all 3 of the prequels, and
yeah,
The only
Hayden Christensen, what do you tell that kid? Like, be like, no, more wooden, less emotion, please.
he's a good actor. Like, have you ever seen Shattered Glass?
Yeah,
he's really
fine
solid.
in other things.
Which, like, I don't know, people now are really starting to turn more towards thinking that his performance was good. I was like, you guys, Attack of the Clones is rough. I was like, it comes off as creepy. The love story, his lines come off as creepy in
he comes
Attack
off
of the Clones.
As
a dirtbag.
His Attack of the Clone lines, I'm like, yeah. I just remember in the theater, like, rewatching it a few months ago. I'm like, you were creepy. But I mean, I really didn't have a problem with his performance. Like I said, like, especially like Revenge of the Sith, I think it got a little bit better. I guess he wanted him to be like the creepiest, angstiest teenage boy. So, I mean, I can tolerate his performance of Attack of the Clones. But I mean, like I said, I mean, Phantom Menace, I have no issues with. I think mostly because I think it's tied to so many good memories for me. Yeah, when people like bash, I'm like, I don't care what you say. I love that movie. It's always gonna hold a special place in my heart. Just because
like
of the friendships I built from that.
Honestly, there isn't a single one that I'm like, I don't like that movie. It just.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I may rank them differently, but overall, I mean, all 9 films I enjoy, and they're like, because they hold those. I can remember specific moments. I mean, like the prequel trilogy. I remember just being able to watch it with you guys, and like that was like one of the last big moments we were all together. Was the
because I got married like 2 years later, and that was the last time I saw you. Now,
no, I did not see
exactly.
The Revenge of the Sith with you guys. The last one I saw was Attack of the Clones.
Yep. I think Paco was not at Lynn Haven Mall that night.
No, me and Aaron Freeze went and saw that. I think it was just me and Aaron Freeze.
So, but yeah, it was weird. Revenge of the Sith.
I don't remember why it happened.
But I remember being at Revenge of the Sith, and I didn't even show up until close to midnight because we didn't have to wait for seats. I think Malachi, you waited for seats.
Yeah. We held. Me and a few others held rows down. Like, so we would cap off we capped off 2 rows because we knew not everyone was going to be able to get there on time.
But yep, good times all around. I don't know. Like, there was a meme out right around when Rise of Skywalker came out that was Anakin from Attack of the Clones, and it was when he was talking about the Tusken Raiders. But it was like, I love the prequels, I love the sequels, I love the original trilogy, I love them all. And it was like his like freak out, but that's the way I feel about it. I love all the Star Wars films, and I think really it's just because the films are fun, but there's something that like just connects. And I think it's the whole idea of all these, a bigger community. And like the 3 of us are part of that bigger community. Like, it's drawn us together into a long lasting friendship. I don't know. I just gotta, even though Lucas might not be able to direct actors, I gotta give him credit. Like, he's
a great idea, man.
Yeah,
he's great.
The ideas behind the prequels are fantastic. Like, the deeper meaning behind the prequels are great, but they have to be explained to you, and I don't think they're there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he's great idea, man. He's great.
I feel the same way about Stephen King. Like, I think Stephen King's a great idea, man, but I don't think his execution's always good. I think he's a little too wordy. But I mean, can't knock the man that like made The Shining. It's like my favorite horror film. So
he gave the role Pennywise,
but he also gave that awful scene in the book for It, which can just go right back. That scene with Beverly, oh, man, I just wish I could erase that from my memory, just in general. But that's a different podcast altogether. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just overall, like I said, Star Wars is like, to me, just it's always going to be a big part of my life. Like I said, some of my lifelong friends came from it. I mean, just it's always going to be that special thing for me. So I mean, just like I said, so many memories are tied with me to Star Wars.
Well, I hope people want to listen to us talk about Star Wars.
Listen.
Well, I think it's about time to wrap up. We're getting close to the recording running out. So,
word up.
So if people want to keep listening, we can be found on, right now, Spotify. Pretty soon we should be on iTunes. But if you just search for the Boonta Eve Party Planners, we should come up. Some sites may actually be able to look under just BEPP, BEPP. You can follow us on Instagram at the Boonta Eve Party Planners. And on Twitter, it's at BEPP Podcast. We couldn't actually fit the whole name in there, so it's a little bit shorter. Yeah. But yeah, this is fun. I hope that people enjoying listening to us just talk about Star Wars and everything else that revolves around it. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Lord Firedeath. What about you guys? Where can they find you at?
I'm on Instagram at Paco. What's my Instagram name? Paco Bentley?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And me, you can find on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel that I run with my niece. It's called Dynamite Geeks. So it's DYNOMITE Geeks. Same thing for Twitter and YouTube.
We hope to have episodes out every couple of weeks, but I know Paco and I are both running that kid life, so it can be a little bit tricky. Yeah. And Mal will catch you when we can. But 2 different coasts, 2 different timelines. It's tricky. Well, not timelines. It's not like an alternate universe sort of thing. So.
Oh, it is.
It might be.
You're living now, bro.
If it is, it's the worst timeline. 2020 is not good. So
don't ever go to 2020, Marty.
Yes. So if you're listening to this podcast in like 2030, just remember 2020 not good. So
it was some fun.
No, that's why we're doing a podcast. So
exactly.
All right, guys. Well, for now, I think that we're probably pretty safe to say, as Mace Windu would say, this party's over.